What is up, guys? Eric here from Real Film Reviews, bringing you another movie review, this time for the new Ryan Gosling film, Blade Runner 2049. Blade Runner 2049 is directed by Denis Villeneuve of Sicario, Prisoners, and Arrival fame, stars Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford, and is the sequel to the 1980s classic Blade Runner. This film picks up 30 years after the original and tells the story of the young Officer K, who is a Blade Runner, and after he comes across a interesting replicant that he is forced to retire, he then realizes there is a lot more going on, and the Tyrell Corporation was taken over by a man named Neander Wallace, played by Jared Leto. And after he is investigating this mystery, he is forced to try to find Deckard, played by Harrison Ford, the original Blade Runner from the first film, to try and solve this weird mystery. Now, obviously, I'm not going into very much detail and telling you the plot of this film because I want you to enjoy it at the theater. I wanted to do my best to not spoil anything for you because this movie is a masterpiece. I do not use that word lightly. This is easily the most visually stunning film I have seen this year. The cinematography is absolutely phenomenal. Everything in this movie looks gorgeous. There is not a bad shot in this film, and I was extremely impressed with Villeneuve's direction. Yet again, I feel like he's continued to prove himself to be one of the greatest directors that is in Hollywood right now, and I'm so excited to see every single movie that he makes. I saw Prisoners in theaters and saw it was great, and then I saw Sicario, and Sicario blew my mind, and then Arrival last year was phenomenal, and now this, and I wasn't sure if this movie was going to be good, but when I heard he was helming it, then I started to get a little excited, and it was worthy excitement because this movie is so well put together. The special effects are mind-blowing. It is the best directed movie of the year. I know Dunkirk was extremely well directed, but this is the best directed film of the year. It is the most visually stunning movie that will probably be released this year, and it is one of the most astounding films that I have ever seen in theaters. Aesthetically, there has not been a film made of this caliber in years. This movie, just visuals alone, will blow you away in a theater. I highly recommend seeing it in IMAX if you can, and even if you can't see it in IMAX, please go see this movie in theaters because it will blow you away. The score is great. It has a lot of the same beats of the original, which the original has one of the greatest scores of all time, I think many people would argue. This film now contains my favorite shot of the entire year. I'm not going to spoil what the shot is because it comes near the end of this film, but it is a beautiful shot and I want it to be my wallpaper on everything because it is just perfectly framed and perfectly crafted. This movie is a true sci-fi masterpiece. The performances all around are great. Ryan Gosling gives what I think is possibly his greatest performance he's ever given, and this is coming from someone who loved La La Land, I love Drive, I love The Big Short, but I really think this is probably his best performance. There's one scene in this movie where his character has this extreme emotional moment, and he sells it so perfectly, and for the rest of the film, you truly feel for his character, and you understand what is going through his mind at each moment, and I really loved his performance in this film. Harrison Ford is of course great reprising his role as Deckard. Him and Gosling had very good chemistry on screen together, and it was really great to see him back in this world. Robin Wright, Ava De Armas, and Sylvia Hoeks all give great supporting performances in this film. They all have a specific scene that they just completely and totally steal, and they all were great in whatever specific character they were supposed to be, because two of them have very difficult characters to play. One is a little more of a traditional character, but they all were so great in those roles. The sci-fi noir aspect from the first one perfectly meshes again and fills itself with this action that is simultaneously extremely gritty, but also so stylish on screen, and it isn't so saturated in that violence and that action to make you forget about this in-depth story that you're watching. And in terms of the story, this film does not feel tacked on to the original. It feels like a necessary, fully fleshed out story that was a proper sequel to the original. It improves upon the flaws of the first. While the flaws of the first are not enough to demonize that film, it is still a flawed masterpiece, while this one improves upon all of those issues and fixes them to make this stylistic science fiction noir cop film that is just breathtaking to see on screen. I honestly don't know how much more I can praise this film. It has great performances, a great story, it's extremely emotional, it has the most visually pleasing aesthetics of any movie I've seen this year, and then to go along with that, it's just so moving. At the end of this film, I sat there for a minute as the credits began to roll and just had to absorb everything that I had just seen, because this film is just so full of everything that you want in a truly great film. After it ended, me and my friend Andy talked for an hour about this movie. We just sat there and talked about what we liked and what we thought was so much better than the first, and how this character affected this character, and all the different plot aspects to this film. And it's been a while since a movie has done that, where I've seen it with someone, or I saw it and someone else saw it, and we literally just talked about it for an hour or longer, just about the plot and the characters and how it all meshed together and how this affected this. It's a truly amazing film that I think deserves to be talked about and to be discussed. The only thing that I could even sort of nitpick as an issue of this film is Jared Leto's character of Neander Wallace. Jared Leto's performance is great, but his character just doesn't play a very large role in the film. While I enjoyed his character, he had some really great scenes and his performance was really solid for what it was there for. I just thought that his character felt a little underutilized in the script, but even then, it doesn't affect the story, it didn't affect any other characters. It was just a small little nitpick that, of all the things in this film, that's the only thing that I could nitpick. I am very pleased to give Blade Runner 2049 an A+. Blade Runner 2049 is an absolute masterpiece. It has everything that you could ever want in a film. It doesn't lose itself in thinking that it's better than other things. It doesn't get too saturated in reminding you that this is a sequel from a movie in the 1980s. It is a wholly amazing film that I recommend to anyone and everyone. If you are planning to go to a movie theater, go see this film, because it will absolutely floor you when the credits roll. Well guys, as always, I'm Eric. If you enjoyed this review, please do like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought of Blade Runner 2049, share everything we do here on Real Film Reviews, and I hope to see you guys later.